Okay, everybody, it is Thursday, March 9th. Here is our agenda. So we're going to review what we went over last class on Tuesday. It's the Russian pilot assignment. It's a short piece of writing. I've received two of these assignments so far, and by the end of class today, I expect to see the remainder. I want to see some good writing from everybody. Very short, just a little paragraph, but I want to see everybody's work. That'll take a while to reflect and discuss, and I'm going to introduce this concept, which is giving concrete examples in your writing. I'm going to show you how the word concrete is used as a writing strategy. Then we will have a writing exercise. So in the next hour, everybody should have their work turned in. We'll take our break. Then a little bit of fun. We'll do a Mad Libs exercise going over parts of speech. And then I'm going to introduce to you the next assignment, which is a story about an American working in France who's adapting to cultural differences. It's titled When Eating at Your Desk is Forbidden. So it's a fun story that we'll use next week. That's it. That's the plan. Any questions? No questions. Let's get moving. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to quickly go over everything we've done in the past two classes. So here we go. I'm not going to show everything again because you can watch it in the recordings. I did that the other day. So a week ago, I introduced for talking points this Russell Peters discussion about the Indian Canadian experience, the Indian diaspora in Canada. He talked about his father living in Canada for over half a century, roughly half a century, but never quite feeling accepted as a local, never feeling he could become Canadian. We discussed this question: is it possible to become a member of society you don't feel a part of? That was a way to pivot to this concept of feeling like an insider or an outsider, and students were able to reflect their personal experiences changing countries. Then we looked at the unique story of the Russian pilot diaspora in Central Africa. So that's catching up with what we've been doing. Last class, we had three discussion questions to get ready for the writing assignment, and I'll ask a few volunteers to go over. This was pretty complex. It was a bunch of economic, political, we should say, let's just say an odd situation of circumstance. The universe came together that brought this community to the middle of Africa. Who remembers some of those details? What exactly brought this community to the Congo? These middle-aged and sometimes elderly men flying planes around the Democratic Republic of Congo. What brought this community together? Refresher. Who wants to
because
warm up? Who could remember that?
because the planes were too old for new pilots to fly them.
There you go, Israel. So these are old planes. And what in the world would all these
Alexander,
old planes, why are all these old planes being flown across the world?
It's Andres, teacher. Andres,
Oh, I'm
continue.
sorry, Andres. Well, so did you understand that Andres gave
oh, I don't
part
remember.
of the answer? And what I'm asking everybody to do is really tell the story, because it's a complicated story, and I want to see who's got the diligence to really put the story together. Because we spent about 40 minutes answering this one question. I know it's all in your minds, but putting it together, finding the English to put it together is the challenge, and I know you're all up to the challenge. You can do it. So what circumstances around the world came together that brought this community to this one place and this time? Doris, you had a lot to say last time. You want to warm up and give everybody a reminder?
Let me try.
You were an all-star on you were hitting all the home runs on Tuesday. You had all the answers.
I know.
But it's okay. Like if today you're having a lapse of English, it's no problem. You're like, whoa.
No, because today I have headache.
Oh, well,
Teacher.
I'll leave you alone.
That's all.
Thank you for telling me. I'll leave Doris alone. So everybody
Thank
give
you.
Doris a break. So I'll give you
Thank you,
only
teacher.
short questions with short answers today.
Thank you. teacher.
Who else? I think Frenities, you want to give it a shot? You were here last on Tuesday. What exactly brought this together? Andres said these are old planes. Yes, but that's part of the story.
The honor teacher.
You're giving me one word. Keep going.
I lost, teacher.
Okay. All right. So
May I try?
absolutely, Sandra.
All these pilots were ex-military for the Union Soviet,
Soviet
and they
Union,
are
yes.
retired, and they are veterans, and they need to be keep their life continuing. How pilots?
Yes.
That's
Yeah. But why the middle of Africa?
because Congo doesn't have people who know these old planes, and they are good in their job. I don't know, because they are the people who knows how working in this place. Because these planes are very old.
That's true, but you're making the same point as Andres. That's about part of the story. What's who remembers this right here? So they load up a bunch of cargo from one town and they fly to the next town, and the reporter makes an observation. Here we go. So the reporter observes when she looks out the window that what? You can see why they want planes there. For what reason? There's not a lot of what? How do we you go shopping in America, you go shopping in a supermarket. How does all the stuff you buy get there to the supermarket?
Can you repeat again, please, teacher?
In America, when you go shopping in a supermarket, how does all the stuff you buy get there to the supermarket?
With the what do you say the name?
Well,
some products come to another country, just like Mexico.
no, don't overthink it.
no?
Don't overthink it. How does it get there? Does it come on a little old plane flown by a little old man?
No,
It's coming by truck.
Truck, right?
The boat.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Truck. So in many parts of the world, people get what they need because they have roads, they have bridges,
Yes.
and that's the
Yes.
word infrastructure. And remember, this is a place with not a lot of infrastructure, and it's political instability one government moves, shifts to the next government. One day you have all the multiple rebel groups. Every day something crazy can happen. So for ordinary people to live their lives, to get what they need at stores, the stuff you buy in the store comes on a little plane from one town to the next. And that's why these guys have jobs. So that's the circumstance that brought everybody together. I think this is the third time I've explained this, and I'm wondering, does everybody understand? Because I can explain it 4 times, 5 times. That's my job. I'm very okay doing that.
I do get it.
Okay, but nobody's saying anything, so that tells me nobody understands. So I will explain it all over again. I'm actually going to ask the question one more time. Andres, prove to me you get it by explaining it in complex sentences. What brought this community together?
The problem with their infrastructure didn't make it possible for transportation of supplies and stuff. So they needed pilots to use the planes for that job, which was needed, like these people from the Soviet Union that knew how to fly these planes that they had because they were too old.
Excellent. Thank you, Andres. Okay, so I trust Andres gets it. Let's move on, reviewing the next question. What ways do they maintain their culture? This one, I think a lot of folks had multiple answers for this one. Claudia, you want to remind us of this? What are some of the ways that these guys maintain their culture?
Sorry, teacher, I don't know the answer.
No problem. Who can help Claudia? How do they maintain their culture?
Me.
Gracie.
They usually do some activity together, like cooking, and they have a kind of sauna.
Yes. Yeah.
Sauna, and they also sing some music of their country.
Exactly. Yeah. So they cook together, they socialize, they play games, they play music. And they have recreated the ritual of the Russian sauna, sitting in a really hot room and sweating and
Yes.
hitting each other with the eucalyptus branches. So yeah, very much maintaining their culture. All right. All right. Now, this one was subjective. Who wants to give their answer? Because different people in the story have different levels of involvement. Does this community live inside or outside of society? Vibiana gave a good answer in her writing. Who wants to share? Do they live inside of society or outside?
I think it's outside, teacher,
Okay, tell us why, Franites.
because they only stay together, you know? They don't share with the other person because maybe they has the different culture, language. And for that reason, I think they live outside of society
Okay.
because they don't have anything in common. I think so.
Yeah, they're totally different people from
Yes.
the locals.
Yes. Either religion too.
Everything.
Everything, yes.
Couldn't be more different. And yet, we see one pilot talks about, you have another, so here's a local Congolese pilot talking about the language differences flying in the air. Here we go. Why is this not playing? Hold on a second. Let me just check something here. So we have, okay. So it's not an internet connectivity problem. It's fine. Hold on. All right. So here we have one of the local pilots describing some of the language differences.
Teacher, I can't hear.
Mm,
It's mute.
mm,
Don't have sound.
mm.
Several of them get
How about now?
Yes, it's
Okay, lovely. Okay,
but soon after the Soviet Union collapse, several of them get contracts overseas. The ex-Soviet Union wants to get rid of those planes, and they're very cheap. It's just good for the owner. When we meet a Russian plane in the sky, we need to pay attention because they're not talking the same language that we do. We could be at the same level, coming opposite direction. It could be very dangerous. That's what makes the Russian crew a little bit special.
so if they're living outside or inside of society, local pilots are very much aware of their presence. You see a lot of the signs at the airports, because they're written in English, French, and Russian. You have this, he points out the signs so that everybody can read the signs. This gentleman.
Russian. Hero.
So that individual, so that these are names of towns. So Kinshasa, Goma, these are big cities in the Congo. And then you have the Russian names written, which directions to go. So their presence is made known. They've been well established for decades. The work they do is certainly pivotal to the country operating, as we could see, because you have, where is it? When they move, because they move cargo, there we go. And they're moving cargo from one place to the next. People want to buy their hair care products. If a bag of rice is going from Goma to Isiru to Kinshasa and then back to Goma, basically the goods people buy, it's flying on one of these old planes from the Soviet Union, flown by one of these old men. So they're very much established. They shop, we can see they're shopping at the local markets. They're there physically. However, whether or not they're involved with society was up for debate. And we talked about this last week. Do they live inside or outside of society? Frenity said, no, they're living outside of society, because even though they're physically there, moving products, interacting with the local African community every single day, there's somehow there's a lack of presence. Gracie last week made a very Tuesday made a very poignant comment about one of the engineers. Gracie, do you remember your comment about the engineer being emotionally disconnected?
Yes, I remember.
Yeah, it was really interesting. This guy.
For me, it's interesting when I saw the other man, how he's connected with the community. It's totally different. It's interesting.
Yeah. Like, can you refresh what your comments were fascinating. This guy, so he goes and shops in the local market. He interacts with everybody. You could see him. He's a presence in the neighborhood. But he somehow he's there but not there. Tell us more about what you were saying.
I feel like he's physically there, but he's emotionally unconnected. I don't know why, but I thought that when he said his freedom, he's there, he need TV, he need computer, and he doesn't care about anything because he's feeling he's safe, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
But he said his freedom. I don't know why he's there exactly, but he's emotionally unconnected, totally.
Here, I'll compare these two interviews because these are two great examples of some of these characters here. So this guy, he's the engineer. He's got a tough job. He does the cooking for everybody when they're up in the air, so they come home, they can eat. And then he makes sure that these old planes still fly. We don't want one to fall out of the sky. So that's a tough job. When the reporter, this is a young American reporter talking to him, you know, living this unique life. He's 11 or 12 years. He's been away from his family, living in a remote part of the world in a developing country. And he says this.
It's not, for me, it's not problem. You see computer, you see TV, after it's not problem for me. It's problem for Congo. For me, it's not problem. It's not good condition. I'm not working. It's to be stop company. I don't know. It's political.
So, and one thing that was pointed out is that he doesn't have quite enough English to really express what he means, but he's talking about the fact that there's constant war with like neighboring countries. Government is very unstable, which we learned at the beginning. So most people living in a really unstable part of the world would be worried, would be emotionally involved. If, you know, a bomb is going off, you know, outside your door, people are dying, crazy things are happening. Most people would be worried, scared, talking to their family. Okay, I'm okay. He's just kind of like shrugging. He's like, whatever, I got a job to do. I keep these planes up in the air. I do my job. It's none of my business, which is a weird attitude to have when living somewhere for so long. However,
welcome.
There was a kind of a different attitude. Is that he was one of the younger guys, like look maybe late 30s, early 40s. This gentleman had a different attitude. He was the one who said, I am free. In the Congo, I am free.
No, not ready. It's not ready to time to borrow. Maybe 10 minutes.
With the ravioli in the pot and the vodka in the freezer, we sat down with the captain for an interview.
What can I say?
So here's the interview. He's the captain.
Flights, my dreams, but for this country, I'm free. I try to organize this life, our life here, as my home. The situation with country sometimes changes very quickly, but without our job, this country is not possible to have a normal life. Situation will come, we will continue. It's very good country, very good people, sometimes very strange, but maybe me strange for him, for these people, I don't know.
So he also uses the minimum amount of English to really express himself, but you could tell there's a difference. The captain and the engineer have, I think, different levels of connectivity to that place that they've been living in for so long. I'm going to go back to Gracie. Do you see him as also emotionally disconnected?
No, I think he's feeling he's part of the community. He's unconnected. He's totally connected for me. He wants to stay there.
Yeah, his attitude, he says, well, you know, I've organized, he says, I try to organize my life.
Flights, my dreams, but for this country, I'm free. I try to organize this life, our life here as my home. The situation with country sometimes changes very quickly, but without our job with country, it's not possible to have a normal life. Situation will come, we will continue.
So very matter of fact, one way or another, you know, we're part of the country. Say a little more, Gracie. I think you're right. You're really onto something. He is somehow connected the way he sees himself.
Yes.
Yeah, whereas in this interview, and you could also say that this guy, I think his name was Captain Vitali, the guy who took them for the Russian sauna experience. He'd been living there 20 years. The first thing he wanted to do was say, hey, look at these videos on my iPad. This is when I was flying over a volcano. Yeah. He was really proud of the work he did. And then you had this guy, he didn't seem like he was there at all.
Our next destination.
City this.
How big is the city? It's very small.
I this no go to city.
You've never seen it?
This many problems.
He's like, city's over there. I stay at the airport. There's nothing. I don't go there. I don't go there. And everybody, this is probably something everyone sees in diaspora communities. This is a very familiar situation. You'll have one person who is completely invested themselves in the local culture, in the local community. Some people who are kind of like halfway in, halfway out, and then somebody who's like, I'm not here. I'm my body is here, and that's
we
it.
We can see that. For me, it's interesting because I see that in our community frequency. I see many people, they are living here for a long time, but they are not here. They are not here 30 years, 20 years, but they don't know. They are just into their community, same space, no move, and they are not here. But the other, they are like, they are being here for always. Everyone is different.
Exactly. So this is where I think, Gracie, you're giving us a great place to start. Well, with finishing the assignment, because that's the question in Google Classroom. Here we are. So when I go into the Google Classroom page and I look at the assignment due today, here we are. Assignment due today, Russian pilots in the Congo. So I've given some feedback. So Viviana and I think I forgot the other student who did turn it in. I gave you some feedback. Everybody else, we still need to get that done today. But here's the assignment. You want to follow the instructions, complete the worksheet. So very easy, just right here on the worksheet. In the documentary, Russian pilots in the Congo, choose one of the main characters and describe how well they adapt. I forgot the Y there, my mistake. They adapt to their environment. Do they live separate from society, or have they become part of the local culture? Keep your writing between 35 and 50 words. So together, two of you have completed this, and I've given some feedback. Together, we're going to finish this right now. Let's identify who these people are. Oh yeah, so there's Viviana, I gave you some feedback there. Who are these people? How well have they adapted? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you their faces and their names. As we go along. So one of the first characters we meet we're introduced. Right.
Thinking about going solar.
Okay,
Not
commercial.
sure.
So I'm going to give you their faces and their names, and we'll identify the levels that they've adapted. Here we go.
Sounds good.
Необходимость его выгуливания отпала.
Красноярск.
Необходимость.
Difficult to film at the ready for takeoff.
This.
In 5. We just left Goma. Maybe about 50 minutes left. Jungle bush. First stop for the day. Some cigarettes.
City. It's very small.
So I'll give you one face. Forget his name. We can call him the pilot who doesn't go to the city. This guy is Captain Vitali. I remember his name. Let's get him in the sauna where he's really happy. A little shadow over his face there, but that's okay. Captain Vitali. And here is
So he goes to check.
Ooh,
Oh, flowers.
c'est ça farine.
You on the table?
Good pay. Difference for Ukraine for. Not ready. It's not ready to time to borrow. Maybe 10 minutes.
With the ravioli in the pot and the vodka in the freezer, we sat down with the captain for an interview.
What can I say? It's flights.
And at the end, when they're playing the guitar, there we go. Let's give the lighting's not great, but let's just get his face there. And let's identify
Fresh.
Oh, there we go. There's the face.
Farine. Oui, papa.
There we go. All right. So let's identify. We want to do what's called give examples in the story. We can call him the engineer. We can call him Captain Vitali. And the other captain, I forgot his name. Then we could call him the older guy who doesn't go to the city. I don't go to the city. So there we go. We've got 4 main characters. There's more, there's a few more, but this is primarily who was involved. How much are they involved in the their environment? This is a good place to start. So if we're giving examples in writing, who can pick? I'll just say 1, 2, 3, 4. Who could identify some of these guys and put together some complex sentences identifying how much they are a part of the society they're living in? Because that's the assignment. And this is to make it easy. Viviana, go for it.
Teacher, it depends of the character because for example, I choose Alec, but
Alec, yeah.
I think that Alec is not involved totally into the culture, Goma culture, because he just check the plane and come back for his house to cooking. Yeah.
Excellent. Yes, and you're writing, you did that very well. Alec?
Yeah.
Yeah.
By side, the pilot, he loved playing, and then for this reason he involved not totally, but this the kind of part with the Gona because he have more contact with the people, but he know now the cities just in the airport, you know. But
you
he
mean
loved
this guy
playing.
number 4, right?
Yep, the captain. Yep.
Yeah, the captain. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Yeah. So that's a great. What she did was actually something more than the assignment asked for. She compared and contrasted two guys. I only asked for one person, but Viviana did a great job contrasting two characters. And I'm going to challenge everybody else because only 2 of you completed the assignment. So everyone else, try right now to put together a few words, identifying one of these characters. How involved are they with the community they're living in? Are they living inside? The question as I worded it was, are they living their life inside of society or outside of society? Somebody pick one and give us a few examples. Anybody?
Teacher, I think the number 4, the captain, he's living inside because I remember he said he organized his life like to have this place like his home. And yeah, he was expressing like he was saying that it's a good country to be there, but even sometimes the situation come strange, but he will continue. He was talking about that.
Very nice, Claudia. Yes, that if you put that into your writing and give a little, and maybe give a little bit more, you're all set. You could start writing right now. I would say go for it. So Claudia is ready to finish her writing. Excellent. Fraternities, who are you going to highlight? Whoops. Undecided. Andres Cabero. Who are you writing about,
Yes,
sir?
sir. Okay. I think, teacher, for example, in the engineer case, Alec talking about for his outside the society. He go for buy on the market, for example, and come back at home, and he don't care what happened outside at home. He don't know if political or community. He don't know anything. You know, it's only his life, and he has necessary for life in his home.
There you go. He has what he needs at home, and that's all that matters. There you go. All right. Does let's see, Letitia, how about you? You want to give it a shot? Identify one of these guys? Letitia? Okay, so I think we're in a good place. Is everybody clear about the assignment and know what they need to do? Okay, so I'm going to put everyone in some quick breakout rooms, and you should finish your writing now. So if you don't finish your writing in class today, you're going to get a call from a volunteer who's going to help you finish your writing outside of class. A young man named Daniel, he is a volunteer from Babson College. So let me know right now if you are not clear with the assignment, and we'll get started. Does anybody have any questions about what is due today and what I'm asking you to do? Okay, I'm going to take that as everybody is ready to finish their writing right now. Okay, here we go. All right, everybody. I'm going to put you in some quick breakout rooms. And for the 2 students who did complete their writing, take a look at my comments. You can make some changes. Here we go. I'm opening 3 breakout rooms right now.
I don't understand why, but always not working. Small group.
Okay. Can you see anything here? You should say join. Well, this is not so much for talking, but writing and perhaps asking a few. You can stick with me. You can just start writing, Sandra. Is this abstract or is this concrete? And I haven't taught you the definitions of these words yet, but the guy was not a part of that place.
For me, I think it's abstract, teacher.
It is very abstract. Yes. I'll rewrite the same. I'll write the same sentence with more concrete details. Alec was not a part of society living in Central Africa. So this is concrete language, as opposed to the guy was not involved with that place. So yes, this one is abstract. It's a complete sentence, but this is more concrete. What's the difference? Who could tell me?
Can I?
Sure.
I think a try is when it's something is not secure, you know, it's not, if you know it's true or false, you know. When it's concrete, you have some, you have the true idea about that.
Fraternities. What does fraternities mean? What does fraternities mean when you're saying you have a true idea? like a genuine understanding. What does she mean by that? And Frenitus, that's a question for everybody else because you're onto something. Israel, were you about to say something? Or I thought maybe I heard the wrong voice. Well, what's the difference between saying the guy was not involved with the place versus the engineer or Alec was not a part of society living in Central Africa? What's the difference between those two?
Teacher, I think that in concrete sentence you have more details. You have like a specific place, a specific person, maybe hour. Is more concrete. You have more details.
Beautiful, excellent. So perfect, Christian. So yes, Christian is and Franertes are making the same point. So, well, here's a quick question for everybody.
Teacher.
Yeah.
Christian is concrete. Me is abstract.
not necessarily.
No.
Tell me, if I put a 1 here and a 2 here, which one would you rather read? Would you rather read this one, the guy and the place, versus the engineer or Alec and Central Africa or the Congo or the Democratic Republic of Congo, whatever? Which one is better for the reader?
One.
The second one.
For
Yeah,
me, the
why is it
second,
better?
yes. Can I talk?
Sure. Go for it,
Because
Gracie.
this talking about something real is the difference between abstract and concrete. You are talking about something that is real happened, but the other is a kind of idea, basically.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Gracie. So yeah, when you're writing, well, this here, let's think about information. I mean, they're both talking about exactly the same thing.
Yes.
But how does the reader know? Christian was the one who mentioned details.
Yeah, because the concrete is clear.
Clear details.
And
yes.
the abstract, is true, but it's like you have to think about that. But when you write concrete, you put details and everything is
exactly. Perfect. And I can give another example. So this guy was Captain Vitali. The man was happy living there. Which one is abstract and which one is concrete? I'll put a 1 and a 2 here.
1 abstract, 2 concrete.
Absolutely. Yes. So very often, tell me with myself or with Ashley, when we give you feedback from your writing, have you ever noticed that we might say a little more or give a few more details? That this is exactly what we mean. Because if you're saying the man was happy there or the guy didn't like that place, the reader, or even when you're speaking, the listener is left picking up the pieces, guessing. So it's when you're communicating in writing or in speaking for that matter, you want to be sure to use concrete language so that whatever you're communicating is understood. You don't want to, because when you're speaking a second language, you might think to yourself, oh, I don't want to, I'm using up all my English. This is hard. I don't want to do this. I don't want to say words like Central Africa or remember complicated names of people. Why do I have to say the captain or the engineer or be that specific? Why do I need to do that? It's hard. It makes me use more English than I really want to. It's easier just to use the simple words and then I don't have to work so hard. So when you do that, the reader or the listener is going to do this with you. You're going to kind of, you might notice in daily communication, if you say something to somebody, they kind of look at you like, what exactly are you trying to say? How can I help you? You want to, when you start using concrete instead of abstract language to get your point across, it'll make life a little bit easier. And when you move on to college, your professors will look at your writing and they'll ask you, which one, which person, which place, what exactly are you talking about? And then you'll be frustrated, you'll be angry. You know, the guy in the book at that place. And they'll say, what place, where? So you want to get into the habit of speaking and writing with concrete language, so that the reader will know exactly what you are talking about. And that's something, and this is a little video to help with that.
Welcome back to Carneades.org. Today we're going to be continuing with our series, Dumbfounding Definitions, Dizzying Distinctions, and Diabolical Doctrines, a series sorting through some of the jargon of philosophy. In this video, we are going to be looking at the difference between abstract objects and concrete objects. Now, in metaphysics, philosophers often claim that all objects are divided into two categories.
This guy talks a little bit too fast. Hang on 1 second. Let me... too many words here. Hold on a second. Okay, there we go. Difference between abstract and concrete.
The examples probably will be more explanatory than any of the various definitions. So we have abstract objects and concrete objects. An abstract object might be something like the game of golf. Not even a particular game of golf, but golf in general, as an abstract object. Whereas a concrete object might be a singular golf ball. An abstract object might be the English language, while a concrete object would be a physical dictionary. Hopefully you're getting a little bit of the sense of what we're doing here. The game of golf, Welcome back to...
Anyway, that might have made things a little more confusing, but I think I'll just stick to that definition. Instead of saying, using abstract language like he, him, they, the place, you be more specific when you're identifying what you're talking about in your writing. And of course, we'll practice this later on. Now, for a little bit of fun, we're gonna do an exercise to go over parts of speech. And I'm gonna ask it if anybody has ever seen one of these before. I made a slide with an old game of Mad Libs. So here we go. All right. Tell me if you've ever seen one of these before. It's loading. Okay, there it is. It's on the left side of the screen. This logo, Mad Libs. Anybody ever seen anything like this before? Okay,
No.
great. It's lots and lots of fun. And I figured out, traditionally you do this with one person holding a piece of paper and then a group of people giving different parts of speech. And then you put together a story that makes everybody laugh. It's a game you play in middle school. And American middle school students do this. But it's actually a very good tool to use to practice parts of speech for English language learners in an adult education setting like this one. On the right side of the screen, I have, let's make sure I'm still recording. Yes, on the right side of the screen, I have parts of speech, and I'll go over a few of them right now. So simple parts of speech you probably already know. Nouns, name of a person, place, thing, or idea. Verbs, actions, adjectives, words that describe nouns. And then the more complicated ones, pronouns. These are those more abstract words that I was going over, like he, him. Those he, him, she, they. So right here you see places where you add words, parts of speech. The first one is adjective. I would like someone, anyone, to give me an adjective. Doris, you're having a migraine today, right?
Yeah.
Can you give me an adjective to describe how your head feels? And remember, it describes the noun. So your headache is the noun.
Just like a burn, I can open my eyes.
Okay, so
I can see the light because my eyes burn, and I can hear a lot of sounds because it make feel just like you something beat in my hair.
So let's come up with it. Who can describe that's horrible pain? That's horrible pain going on in Doris's head right now. Who can give her one word to describe it? Now, Doris, forgive us.
It's
what's a word to describe? Like, I use the word horrible. What's another word that would describe the pain going on in Doris's head right now?
Or worst, horrible,
awful.
Terrible.
Terrible. Okay, great. Oh, this is really going to be funny because you see how it says adjective here, and the next one you got to name a person in the room. You can name George if you want. I'll just put myself there if you like, or you can name anybody with a sense of humor. So, let's start with terrible. Anybody volunteer to put themselves there?
I'm the new. I deserve it.
Okay. Who is that?
Christian, el new.
Okay, Christian. Okay, thank you, Christian. Thank you for joining. Okay. Christian. Okay, no, we don't know what the rest of the sentence looks like. So, all right. Next up, we've got another adjective. Who can give me another adjective? It could be about anything, like looking out your window. What does the sky look like? An adjective, anything that describes a noun. Tall, short, beautiful, ugly, happy, sad. These are all adjectives. You can use complex words, whatever you like. Christian, you volunteered. Can you give us an adjective?
Yes, of course. Infinity.
Ooh, oh, that's a noun, actually.
Oh, because
but you can say infinite. That's an
infinite.
adjective. Let me make sure I.
Amazing, teacher.
What is that? Amazing.
Amazing.
Okay. Amazing. Let's do the next adjective. Okay, I'll put this one right here. Amazing. That's the next adjective. Amazing. Okay, that'll be right there. And infinite. Infinite. I'll write that down. I hope I'm spelling this right. I-N-F-I-N-A-T. Infinite. Like going on forever. For people who studied math, this is the symbol for infinity right there. Just keeps going and going and going and going and going. An adverb. Now I have definitions of these parts of speech on the right-hand side. Who could explain what an adverb is? That's right here. An adverb tells how often, how, when, where. These are examples of adverbs. Always, never.
Never.
Never, sure. Or,
quickie.
Yeah.
Quickie.
Say it again.
Oh my Lord, se me fue.
Quickly.
Quickly, sure.
Yes.
Quickly is an
Teacher,
adverb.
often is a adverb. Often.
In context, it can be.
Okay.
Never ever.
She like this. She often has headaches. That would be the adverb.
Okay.
Has, yeah. She never has headaches. Which adverb are we going on? Quickly, often, quietly, slowly.
Never ever.
Yeah. Never. Okay. Let's just try never. Okay. All right.
But never ever is good, teacher.
Never ever. Okay, why not? That'll be funny. Never ever. I don't even know if that's a compound word or not. Let's just try it. Okay. Now, plural noun. The word plural, some of you in your in the feedback for your writing, I talk about singular and plural agreement. Plural means more than one. Like we learned about pilots. So P-I-L-O-T, the pilot, singular, one person, versus add the S, pilots, plural, many people. So a plural noun could be cars versus car, students versus student, singular. Any plural noun from anybody?
Firemen's.
Firemen. And we would put MEN or firefighters. If we could take the gender away from it, it's fine. But we know what you mean. Firefighters. 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 Okay, any last name you want? Any last name?
Sanchez.
Sanchez, okay.
For Gracie.
Your friend, Gracie, your best friend Franites has volunteered your name. Let's do another noun.
Should I?
Go for it, Gracie.
Do you need another now?
One more, right there, noun.
Must be person or whatever.
Whatever.
Dog.
Dog, okay. All right. Now this is very subjective. Who can give me a silly word? Sometimes with silly words, I like to use words in other languages. Can we get a silly word in Spanish, Portuguese, another language, or English is fine?
Whatever.
Whatever. You can put it in the chat and I'll just copy it. Whatever you like. Viviana said chair, so that'll be the next noun. Chair, okay, got it. Somebody give me a silly word.
Come solo, teacher.
Okay, very nice. And let's see. Como solo. Come solo. Okay. And one more last name.
Obama.
Obama. Hadn't heard that name in a while. Sure. And now a first name, female. Sarah, Lucy, Mercedes. Any female name?
Diana.
Vienna. V-I-E-N-N-A. Okay.
Maria.
Maria. I think Vienna was first there, so we'll. And now another silly word. Somebody with kids, what do your kids like to say? So Viviana, is your silly word silly?
Yeah.
Okay, why not? Why not? Viviana gave us a silly word, which is silly.
Come on.
Plural noun. Somebody else, plural noun.
Six B.
What?
6B.
6B. Oh, the class. Okay. All right. All right. I just realized I put these two words in the wrong place. All right. Well, I'll put level 6B. I'll put El Centro 6B. There we go. All right. One more plural noun, please.
Bloated fries.
Fries. Okay. Let's get an adjective.
Big.
Say whoever can give us the adjective. I heard two people answer at once. One
Bitter.
bitter. Very nice. Bitter. Yeah. Bitter. All right. A noun, please.
Maria.
Maria. Okay. Maria is coming back, whoever she is. Maria. All right.
No, Maria, she left.
Maria left. I'm just going to say Maria left, L-E-F-T. I'm actually going to write that whole thing. Maria, she left. That's not one word, but okay. Maria, she left. All right. Maria, she left. All right. And a verb, please. A verb is an action word. Run, sleep.
Sleep.
Sleep. All right. Okay, one more verb.
Sleeping?
Sure. You sure you want sleep and sleeping to follow each other?
Swimming, teacher.
Swimming, why not? Okay. I'll put swim because it doesn't say present progressive verb, but
No, fine.
all right. Who let's get a volunteer to read this whole thing. I'm going to take away these bars and then you're going to see the entire story. Do we have a volunteer to read the whole thing? Andres, okay. So I'm going to take away all these bars and you could read, all right? So
Okay.
you'll start reading from here to here. Watch this, okay.
Okay. Terrible Christian. Oh my God. Oh, I understand. Okay. Yeah.
I
am having
an
an
infinite
infinite time here in Paris. I spend every day never ever visiting museums, monuments, and flyers. And yesterday, I went to the Sanchez Tower, which is located.
Hold on a second. They're not falling in order. There we go. On the river.
Sanchez Tower, which is located on the river dock. Then I went to the Palm. This is a museum that is spelled the Palm. U-E-U-D-E Palm. Okay.
J-E-U-D-E-P-O-M-M-E and is pronounced.
And is pronounced como solo. Como solo. Como solo. It is next to the Louvre.
The Louvre.
Give me 1 second. It's the Louvre, which has the famous statue of Venus de Obama. Obama. And the painting of the Mona Vienna by Leonardo da Silva. The, the center of Paris is called the place of the shade
Whoop. And
of, of the shade and is always filled with thousands of El Centro L6B all talking photograph of one another and of the many French fries. The food at the Paris restaurant is bitter. I have already eaten amazing snails and duck a la Maria. She left. I plan to sleep to Paris again next year and hope you can swim too.
Yes. Yes. Okay. So that's always a fun way to end the class and
Wow.
also review parts of speech. So I'm going to erase all that. That was a lot of fun. Good job, everybody. And I will introduce, we've got a few more minutes. Doris, does that make your head feel better? Or maybe we made her head feel worse. I'm sorry,
Yes.
Doris. Oh, it makes you feel better. Good. Okay. Good,
Yes,
good, good.
it's very funny.
Good. A little laughter will make you feel, hoping a little bit of laughter will make you feel better. So I've got a bunch of these. We'll use them once in a while just for fun. So this is Mad Lib's Letter from an American in Paris. And that's how I'm going to introduce this next story. So it is a real life story about an American working at a university in France. And Americans have a very different work culture than the French, or we might as well say Americans have their own, we have our own unique work culture from people around the world. I'll give an example. I worked for about a decade in China. In the south of China, people take a siesta. Does anybody know what a siesta is?
Yes.
No.
Tell us, what is a siesta?
In Portuguese,
It's a
it's the
short
same.
sleep. I'm sorry.
When you finish to eat your lunch, you go to rest a little bit.
Yeah, it's perfectly normal at the office to take, like, lie down and take a nap for like a little while, like half hour or something, and then get back to work. In America, that was super weird. To us, that's really, really weird. So the first time I was working in an office in China, I would finish my work, you know, go grab lunch, and I'd be like the American, do the American way, grab something, eat a sandwich. I'd be walking, talking, thinking about how much I could get done. I'd come back and everyone in the office is on their desk like this. And I'm the weird American holding my cup of coffee going, what is happening here? Like I felt like I was in another planet. So very American culture, work culture, it's known for taking very short lunch breaks. And a lot of people have work lunches where they'll have a meeting and eat lunch together at the same time. They will eat lunch at their desk and see how much work they can get done, and maybe even get home, leave the office a little bit early. That's kind of normal American culture. Quickly get things done and then go on about your business. In France, there's actually a labor law forbidding people to have lunch at their desk. Many French companies, if you work in an office especially, computers will stop and no one is allowed to work, and everyone is forced to get up and go somewhere else. Wherever your workstation is, you're not allowed to eat your lunch there. So this is a story about an American who likes to be American and have lunch while she gets things done. She's a teacher, so she wants to do her lesson planning and grade her papers and all these things while she's eating her lunch, which is a very American thing to do. But everyone at her office gets up and goes outside and comes back in about an hour and a half. and starts work again. She stays, gets her work done, and wants to leave early. But the French don't do that. They take a long break in the middle of the day and go somewhere else. So she has to deal, it's a story about how she deals with these cultural differences and where these cultural differences come from. So when I give you this story, it's called When Eating at Your Desk is Forbidden. It involves an actual law in France, which is part of the French Article 9 of the French Labor Code. And this is just to get you excited about next time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you the listening material right now to the WhatsApp group. I haven't posted an assignment yet because I want everyone to have time to finish their Russian pilots assignment, but here it is. So there it is. It's a great story. And when you see this in your in the WhatsApp group, I encourage you to read the transcript right here. So click that button and it will go to the transcript. Watch this. You can listen and read at the same time to make it easier. So when you play.
Quick question before we begin this week's episode. Customers choose their hors d'oeuvres, and scenes like this are playing out in bistros and canteens across France.
Cheers. Allez, à la vôtre. À la vôtre.
Meanwhile, in her office at the University of Strasbourg, an English teacher named Caitlin Plachy furtively pokes her head into the hallway, looks both ways. Seeing no one, she carefully clicks the door closed, returns to her desk, and in the glow of her computer screen, she pulls out a salad and records this voice memo.
Hi, Rough Translation team. My name is Caitlin. I have a workplace cultural challenge, which is currently I'm sitting in my office hiding because it's lunchtime. At lunchtime in France, people generally take an hour and a half or 2 hours and eat and try not to talk about work. But I come from the US and I love a productive lunch. There's even a law in France that forbids workers from eating at their desk. And that is my workplace cultural challenge.
So that's all I'm going to show you right now. But does everybody see how you can maneuver this to read and listen at the same time? I'm going to post this in the WhatsApp group. And once you finish your Russian pilots assignment, you can get started with the next story, which is both reading and listening. So an American working in Paris and having a really hard time adapting to the local culture. That is it. It is 12 o'clock. We're going to finish right on time. See you next week, everybody. Bye-bye.
Teacher, have a question.
Yes, Andres.
I see you next weekend in person.
I will stay on. My classes will stay online for 6B. You will see Ashley in person. But when you see Ashley, you'll see me in the next room. Don't worry, because I'll be in the room across. I think she's in 106 and I'm in 116. So you can knock on the door and say hello anytime.
No, it's good. But the class, all class right now is online with you.
The schedule's on Google Classroom, so it's 50-50. Ashley Wednesday and yes, Ashley is Wednesday and Friday in person, and I'm still Tuesday and Thursday online. And for several of you, like Gracie and Doris, who cannot make it in person, we've got an evening schedule. But but for Andres, I will be very excited to see you in person. Your wife your wife is taking another class, like 4 or which class is she in? Is she one of my students?
I
Okay,
don't know.
I have 3 Andreses right now, so never mind. So not your wife, the other Andres. Okay, never mind. All right, so that's it. Let's call it a day. Any more questions?
No question.
No questions.
No
Okay.
question.
Bye-bye, everybody.
teacher.
And
Thank
everybody
you.
say, nice to meet you, Christian. Take care.
Nice to meet you all. Thank you. Have a
Bye-bye.
great night.